Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk Simplified, where we break down the latest in technology and software developments into engaging discussions. Today, we're diving into an exciting tool called Colima, which offers container runtimes for macOS and Linux with minimal setup. So, whether you're on an Intel or Apple Silicon Mac, or even a Linux machine, you'll want to stick around. To kick things off, let's talk about what Colima is and why it's becoming quite the buzzword among developers. Imagine a world where you can run containers with ease, set everything up without a mountain of hassle, and even manage different environments seamlessly. That's what Colima promises with its simple command line interface and sensible defaults. It's like having a magic toolbox that works on both your macOS and Linux systems. Now, have you ever felt bogged down by the complexity of setting up container runtimes? I know I have. Colima is here to relieve that stress. With just a few commands, you can get started quickly. For instance, installing it is as easy as using Homebrew, MacPorts, or Nix. It's almost like ordering your favorite coffee. You choose the method that suits you best, and voila, you're up and running. You might be wondering, how does it support multiple container runtimes? Well, Colima allows you to dive into various environments such as Docker, Containered, and even Incus, the latter of which can handle both containers and virtual machines. It's like choosing between different culinary styles. Each has its flavor and benefits. And the best part? If you're using Docker, you can jump straight into Kubernetes without a hitch. Talk about a seamless transition. Let's pause for a moment to think about something interesting here. When you first start Colima, it defaults to Docker, but you can switch it up anytime. So for instance, if you're feeling adventurous, you could opt for Containered by simply running a command. It's a powerful reminder of how flexibility in tech can lead to creativity and problem solving. Speaking of flexibility, customizing your virtual machine with Colima is straightforward too. Want more storage or processing power? Just a couple of commands and you're good to go. But make sure you're aware that disk size is a one-time deal. It's like ordering an appetizer. Once you choose it, you can't really swap it out. Now, each virtual machine that Colima creates typically starts with 2 CPUs and 2 GB of memory. But if you're working on something more demanding, like software testing or scaled deployments, it's all about adjusting your settings. For instance, you could ramp up to 4 CPUs if needed. It's really about tailoring your environment to suit your project's needs. And as for the name Colima, it's quite clever. It hints at its purpose, containers on Lima, referring to Linux machines. You know, tech names can often sound technical or intimidating, but this one sort of makes sense. Who doesn't appreciate a bit of wordplay? Before we wrap up, I want to highlight that Colima has a vibrant community around it, with plenty of support resources available. Whether it's discussions on GitHub or the CNCF Slack channel, there's a sense of camaraderie among users. It reminds us that technology isn't just about the tools we use, but also about the communities we build around them. So as we conclude this episode, remember, if you're looking for a hassle-free way to run container runtimes on macOS or Linux, think of Colima. It's designed to empower developers like you with minimal setup and maximum flexibility. Thought-provoking question to end. What could you create or test if setting up your development environment was as easy as ordering pizza? Think about it, and maybe give Colima a try. That's all for today's episode of Tech Talk Simplified. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.